Namaste and welcome. I'm Laura from LaVi Sound and Yoga. So nice that we can practice together. This little sequence is a balance of yin and yang, so a little bit passivity, a little bit activity, because we have both in our body and we want to balance and harmonize these two parts. So we are starting by laying down on our back on the floor. Let the feet stay on the floor, so bend your knees. And for 1-2 breaths, just arrive here, feeling how relaxed your shoulders are. See that if you have your hair together, that the back of your head can stay relaxed on the floor. Good. And then we start with the right side. So let your arms by the side, but take your right knee close to your chest. And then start to make some circles with your right knee. And this will affect your right hip. So the movements are coming actually from your hip. Yeah. And then change the circle direction. So this is also where we will work a little bit in this sequence, mobilizing the hips. Great. And then straighten your right leg out to the ceiling. And then point the toes and flex the foot. Point the toes and flex the foot. Every time when we point, we have the front active, and when we flex, we stretch the back of our legs. So in the front and the back of our legs, there are running energy channels, which we call the meridians, which we now stimulate both back and front. Wonderful. Then flex your foot and bend your knee, and then take your right arm at the inside of your right knee and catch your foot from the outside for half happy baby. So the sole of the foot is pointing towards the ceiling and the right knee is going towards your right armpit. And here we incorporate more the passivity. So let it be a gentle posture. So the hand is just holding your foot, you are not pulling. I like my left knee fall a little bit open because this gives me more stability. And the left hand you can bring to your left hip if you want, or the thigh. And then take some breath here into the stretch of the inner right thigh, the back of your right thigh. So into the hip area of the right side. Shoulders are relaxed for 2 more breaths. Good. Then if the left knee fell open, then bring the left knee back. That we can bring now the flexed right foot underneath the left knee on the left thigh. Open the right knee. Have your hands by the side, so we are not using our hands, but we are now picking up our left knee and make some circle with the left knee here. So this will again affect our right hip. And circle the opposite direction. Wonderful. And now we are coming more into the yang energy, the activation. So now activate your core. So the belly presses in a way down to the earth and up. Then flex the right foot, flex the left foot, and straighten the left leg out. So the left sole of the foot is pressing up to the ceiling. And now the left long leg is like want to come closer to you, but the right foot is here to press against. So the right knee is also opening a little bit more. So they are working in opposite directions. So we have a total active posture here. Belly is active, legs are active. For 2 more breaths here. Super. And then release the left foot down, release the right foot down, and let the knees fall together just for 1-2 breaths for a moment, just to feel the effects in our hips, in our legs. Good, and then we change. So right foot stay on the floor, left knee comes closer, and then make some circles with your left knee. So we are mobilizing now more the left area of the hip or the left hip. Yeah. And then circle the opposite way. Always just in your possibility of range of movement. Then straighten the left leg, point the toes, flex the toes. Point the toes, flex the toes. Great. Also the energy channels, the meridians are running on both sides of the body similar. So they mirror each other. So also here we have the back and the front meridians of our leg. Then flex the left foot, bend the knee, take your left hand and the arm at the inside of the knee, but catch the outside of the foot. The sole of your foot points upright, the knee fall to the armpit area. Right knee can fall a little bit out for happy baby, half happy baby. Now for the left side, so the back and the inside of our left hip is now here getting stretched. And just take some breath wherever you feel now an opening, a stretch, stimulation, and let it be soft. So relax the shoulders. The head is all the time really relaxed on the floor. Wonderful. Then bring the right knee back up if it fell open. Then bring the left foot underneath the right knee on the right thigh. Open the left knee. Hands by the side and the right knee makes some circle. Mobilization of the left hip. Still. Yeah. Circle the opposite way. Great. Then activate the belly. Left knee pushes a little bit away. Left foot is active. Flex the right foot and straighten the right leg out up to the ceiling. And again, the right leg wants to come closer, but there is the left foot who presses against. So both legs are really active and your belly at the same time is as well active because also we need to hold with the belly. So fully yang here. For 2 more breaths. Wonderful. Then let the right foot come back to the floor, the left foot as well, and take both knees close to your chest, hug your knees, and stay here for 1, 2 breaths. Yeah. And then take your hands and bring them behind your knees. And see if this is available or accessible for your spine now. We will roll up and down. So with a little bit like rounding of the spine, or as actually quite a lot of rounding, we come now back and front on our spine like a little ball. So the more round you can be, the better you roll. Cool. 1 more time. And then let the feet come to the floor and without using your hands, come up into a forward fold. So you lean over your long legs. Wonderful. You can always bend the knees if you need. And then here, grab your opposite elbows, relax your head, and swing a little bit right and left. Yes, a little bit front and back. So here, back side of our legs gets stimulated, also the whole back. Great. And then bend your knees that you can place your hands down to the floor. And then take 2 steps backwards into a downward facing dog. So the feet are hip width distance, the hands are shoulder width distance apart. And then press into the hands and bring your sitting bones up. And our back, our spine stays long. And we activate by pressing the palms away and towards each other And maybe the heels a little bit closer to the floor. If they don't touch, doesn't matter, you can have the knees bent as well. Good, for one full breath. Then look to the front and now step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. So a little bit outside from your mat as well. You can come onto your fingertips and just take some movements here with your hips. Right and left, or even some circles to mobilize. Wonderful. And then come onto your fingertips. Press the left heel away from you. Let the hips sink down, but open the chest. So really actively here, staying into in this posture. Let the hip drop a little bit more. Good. And then from activity, we come into passivity. Bring your left knee down, point the toes backwards, and let the hips relax here. Either stay in your hands, or if possible, you can come onto your forearms into dragon or lizard. I like to roll my right foot a little bit to the outer edge of the foot, which let the knee come a little bit open. And then here invite passivity. Also, if it's really difficult to stay in this posture, but it is really, really nice for the stretch of our right inner hip and the front of our left thigh. Good. For 2 more breaths. Great. Then slowly come back on your hands when you are on your forearms. Then tuck your left foot under, pick your knee up, and step your right foot back into a downward facing dog. Push the hands down into the mat, into the front, and towards each other. Feel the length of your spine, and maybe you can stretch the legs a little bit more. Good, then we change to the other side. Bring your left foot to the outer left hand or the outer edge of your mat. Let your hips sink down. And then first we move a little bit our hips here, right and left, or into circles, whatever feels nice for you to release some tension. Great. Then come onto your fingertips. Push or press the right heel a little bit further to the back. Let your hips drop, but open the chest. So one long line here. Wonderful. From activity, we come into passivity. Let the right knee drop down, point the toes backwards, hips get relaxed. Either stay on your hands or come down onto your forearms if this is available for you. Don't push yourself too much. And also here, if you want, left foot can come a little bit to the outer edge. So the knee opens. So we have here now the front of your right thigh and the inner left hip as the target area. So let your shoulders as well relax and your head. And let the breath flow down into your hip area. Wonderful. 2 more breaths as well here. And then come slowly onto your hands back if you're on your forearms. Tuck your right foot under and step 1 more time back into downward facing dog as a neutralization, recalibration. Long arms, long legs, stretch to the front, the back, and up with your sitting bones. And breathe naturally. Super. Then from here, walk the feet to the middle of your mat and a little bit wider, so wider than your hips. And let the toes pointing outwards. And then the hands come a little bit closer, and then we sit down into a Malasana squat. So your forearms are at the inside of your knees. And if this is not available for you, if your heels are up here, then please place something underneath your heels. So you can take a block, a blanket, a rolled blanket, or you roll your mat. So the feet should be relaxed. And then bring your hands down to the floor. The forearms are still at the inside of your knees. And then let your spine getting round. Let your head drop a little bit so we arrive back into passivity with a super, super nice opening of our hips here, as well as a really grounding exit or posture where our hands are on the floor, the feet and the lowest chakra, which are at the end of our spine, is shining into the earth. So it gives you connection, understanding, and trust here. Super. Good. And then slowly sit down onto your mat. Bring your knees together just for 2 breaths. Hug your knees. Let your head drop so the hips can come really close together again. And then lean back on your back where we started. And let the knees fall open. Let the soles of your feet meet for our last posture here. So we can either bring both hands on our hip area or one hand on the lower back and one hand on the heart. If this is in any way not relaxing for you, then bring your arms by the side. Close your eyes if you want. Let your head and neck and shoulders drop and relax and arrive here in this really passive opening of our hip. And especially if your hands touching your body in this reconnection to yourself. Because the hips, they are holding a lot of emotional tension or feelings, but they are also the source of our life flow, of strength. So to mobilize and open the flow of our hip, this brings us so much more connection or flow in our life. Just take a moment to observe what already may be changed, what you can observe within you, which feelings and emotions came maybe up. Great. And you can choose to stay longer here or slowly help your knees with your hands come together. Gently take both knees close to your chest and stay here. And again, a choice, you can either straighten your legs into Shavasana, into end relaxation, or roll upright into a seated position. In your seat, just close your eyes for a moment to reconnect to yourself, to the flow of your energy, to your hip region, to your yin and your yang. Namaste, and thank you so much that we can practice and flow together. I'm super happy if I can see you in other videos. I would be happy if you subscribe to my channel and give this video a like, because this helps me to create more free classes for you. Thank you so much.